Yeah, emotions. Beautiful, beautiful day. What can I say? Look at what I'm seeing right about here. Let me point that still. Hold on. This is Atlanta. Yes. A beautiful morning. I cannot complain. Quietness. What this thing is all about. A lot of hills and brain development. I'm calling it because brain development is so unique. Yes, brain development. A lot of time we do not take time to actually develop our brain. And that's why it's very hard to be able to communicate with the youth. We develop how to be mindfully enslaved. That's what we develop most of the time. We don't realize it. And that's why a lot of us, even though we are in a 60, 70-year-old body, our senses are still in its teenager years. Because the one thing that we're not being taught the most is the development of the brain. Stories are good, inspirationals, but you're actually, that mechanism, that thing, that machine that we have has its own way. I love what I'm hearing right about here. The birds are crying. Thank you, 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 thank you. As you can see, I'm on that incline, that sense of joy. Whew, let me flip this thing around. Hold on. Yes, I'm back. So this is what I'm tackling right here. See how here that is. So that sense of brain development comes from movement. And I'm talking about yoga, meditation, reading. Human beings, we naturally have anxiety. We want to do things really fast. Even though some people trying to make it look like, oh, look at what I'm saying right about here. I love it. Some people trying to make it look like, yeah, some people just this. No, it's just natural for us to want to do things in a hurry. When we have not been introduced to practicing being in the moment, it can be tough to start that journey in later on in life. Some cultures, it is what they are brought up with, especially in some of those Hindu households, the Asian African traditions, the Chinese philosophy, Buddhism, Taoism, Shinto. I mean, you just name it. That sense of mindfulness is really what they have been taught from when they're little kids. Gymnastics, all those things is very important. But unlike some of us that grew up in what we call the Western culture, and that Western culture, which is, I call it Afro-Western, because most of the African cultures, most of the African continents are colonized by the West. So behavior-wise, they have a very similar behavior, even though due to some delusional reasons, a colonialist thinks once he steps on his foot in Africa, he's in control, they'll learn his way. But the thing is, the power that human carries, he learns the African way. He just didn't realize it. So when you begin to think like that, a sense of separation disappears. Human history is very unique. The things that we've done to one another, exploitation, and it's due to our greedy senses. That's why there's a joke that's been coming in my head. Let me flip this. Whew, I made that here. What the biscuit? Come on, let's go. There's a joke that's been coming into my head that human beings, we have a character just like how we eat our meat. If a lion sees me in the jungle, I know I'm gonna be his breakfast. Yes, I know I'm gonna be that lion's breakfast or dinner, lunch. So I get that part. But if a goat or a cow sees me, that cow is not gonna bother me, or the goat. So in my opinion, if we're going to eat animals, we might as well just eat a lion. Eat something that will eat you. So, and that's just the thing. Eating all these animals that don't do nothing to us, in a sense, I'm looking at it that we're bullying them. You know, because they don't defend themselves, they don't do anything. So that sense of behavior lays in all our attitude as humans. And as humans, but culturally, yes, it does. So when you begin to practice that mindfulness, that ability to slow down, and believe it or not, a lot of times, that not slowing down is coming from a sense of fear. Because every day when we wake up, we unconsciously have the fear of death in us. We think we have to have this by a certain time. Ooh, I'm enjoying this spot right here. Let me walk this spot. We have to do this at a certain age. We label everything. We put timing on it. We use words. And that's why I see a lot of my friends that always talk about their grinding, and they're still doing the same old biscuit, and 10 years later they're not a millionaire. So why not use that time to just read, meditate, and practice mindfulness? Because I hear everybody, I'm grinding, I'm this. They still haven't made the millions. They still live paycheck to paycheck. And that paycheck to paycheck that you live in, we find ways, we hide behind it via our different activities. Another thing that came into my mind this morning is a sense of gratitude, which is always in my mind lately. I was truly, truly grateful for the fact that when life becomes something that doesn't make sense, because a lot of the things that we human beings do to each other, to ourselves, how do I say it? Our self-sabotaging, whether it's putting chemicals or different things in our body, I wouldn't say it's good or bad for you either. Those things are from what we don't understand, because the book of life that many of us has been presented with is totally different. So when we get to a certain age and that book of life is wrong, we are really confused. So today, as I was looking at a can of beer on the floor, I'm just really grateful that I tried those things with different chemicals. It just didn't work for me. One of my friends in AA says I'm not a successful drinker. That's why I didn't become an alcoholic or anything like that. So for me, when life didn't make sense, I went into my reading, meditating, cried, run myself to the ground. I'm not running. And it is amazing how things will make sense to you. Because when you really tap into that thing called spirituality, your higher self, I did push-ups, you name it. I don't care how long it took me. I spent time because I feel like, what do I have to lose? I wasted 30 years, so to the biscuit. Let me really, really get in tune with myself. Like I always say, I read, meditate. And I'm just so grateful, and I truly understand that when I see people drinking, smoking, I want to know how I feel for you. I truly, truly wish you well on your journey.